So the adaptation gap calculation started up with the loss and damage spendings that Bihar has been doing so far, because disaster is something what the departments or the state government has been working on. The state action plan on climate change was not that much authenticated by the state government. So adaptation gap was always a type of messy thing in Bihar in terms of climate change. So what we had to do is a reverse exercise looking at the loss and damages, because government was prone in looking at disasters as one of the starting points for us. So taking the calculation from the loss and damage calculations, we thought of looking at the government spendings including the contingency fund, and that helped us in knowing exactly what is the spendings that they have. But the best part about Bihar government was that directly they didn't address climate change, but indirectly they addressed climate change through sustainable roadmap, disaster roadmap, agricultural roadmap. So a lot of action plans were there. So you need to understand that climate change has its own language in its own context, in its own region. The results were not that much accepted by the government during the state action plan on climate change financial framework phase 1, where the projections were given to 25 years, 25 to 30 years. That was not the language of communication that government was looking at it. So in Bihar we tried pitching the government through a different agenda for 5 to 10 year plans, telling them that a lot of investment and spending is going into the climate change adaptations, not basically into the name called as climate change adaptation gap, but to the disaster risk reduction. So the common synergy had to be something like climate change induced disasters have been addressed by the government, and we need to streamline them through the sectorial linkages. So that was the starting point, and government always had a disaster budget but never had a climate change budget. So post SAFIN work in Bihar, now government is including climate change into its economic survey as well as including it to the state budget.